Hey, Reggie Rivers here with the Gala team, and it is let's see what time it is here. It's 1:14 a.m. on a Saturday morning. My wife is upstairs in bed, and I am down here thinking about, well, not thinking about, I'm going to record my first rap solo. My son, who's 16 years old, he says I am the nerdiest rapper in the history of rap music, and that's okay. So you will get to experience this nerdy rap yourself. And I'm going to be rapping about Betty Botter. So anyone who's ever been to auctioneering school or heard about auctioneering school knows that the Betty Botter tongue twister is something everyone learns. And so it goes like this: Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better butter, put it in her bitter batter. It made her bitter batter better. So it's better that Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter. And so the point of this tongue twister is to teach you how to say certain sounds quickly and learn how to breathe in between. And so when everybody's saying it quickly together, it sounds like this: Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it'll make my batter bitter. So she bought a bitter, better butter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter better. So it's better, better, butter, butter, bitter, better butter. Right? So that's how the tongue twister goes. Well, almost from the moment I first heard this tongue twister, it sounded like a rap song to me. And when I was in the car, I would practice saying it, but I would always do it to the beat of the music. And then I started adding other verses because I wanted to get into the backstory of Betty Botter and who is this person and what's up with her and this bitter butter. And so I'm going to now perform for you my version of the Betty Botter song, and I'm going to do it to the tune of DJ Unk's Walk It Out. You know the song. West Side Walk It Out. East Side Walk It Out. North Side Walk It Out. Here we go. Listen. Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better butter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter better. So it's better, Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter. What you talking about? Betty Botter bought the butter, put it in her mouth. Betty Botter made a face and gave a little shout. Betty said the butter's bitter, so she spit it out. Betty Botter needs some new butter right now. Betty Botter needed butter, went to the store. She put her baby in the buggy and they up on the stroll. Up and down the aisles, Betty and her baby would roll. They were looking for that butter on an aisle that's cold. Finally found that butter at the back of the store. She put that butter on the counter and that butter got sold. Took the butter home, put it up on the stove, and when that butter started melting, man, it looked like gold. But Betty said, wait a minute, this butter smells old. She looked into the pot, said, this butter's got mold. So back to the store, back for some more. Baby back in the buggy, back on the stroll. Talking to the manager, the story got told. At Betty Botter bought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better butter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter batter better. So it's better, Betty Botter bought a bit of better butter. Listen. Betty Botter is a bitter butter buyer. Always tell the truth, she's not a bitter butter liar. If you don't believe me, be a bitter butter trier. I can guarantee you'll be a bitter butter crier. That bitter butter tastes like a rubber tire. Butter that old really ought to retire. When it hits your stomach, it's a doctor you'll require. And when it hits your ass, it'll be a rectifier. Betty Botter, listen, hey. Betty Botter is a bitter butter daughter. Her daddy was a bitter butter spotter before her. Betty's just doing what her daddy done taught her. She'll spot your bitter butter come hell or high water. Betty Botter needs to let that bitter butter go. Betty Botter needs to tell that bitter butter no. Betty Botter's bitter butter problem's gonna be a bigger butter problem when the diarrhea hits the flow. Listen, listen, I'm done. I'm not gonna talk about that Betty Botter boo. You say Betty Botter to me. I say Betty Botter who? Yep, that's right. Peace out, y'all. Thank you for listening. Outie.